let's start the session. So we are in the fifth unit. Majorly in the fifth unit, we are going to study about NoSQL databases and graph databases. In the graph databases, Hive and HBase. Those topics we are going to cover. And we are going to discuss three use cases also. Okay, some use cases are given in this syllabus. We are going to discuss the use cases also. So now let's start with the first topic, the NoSQL databases, right? So maybe from the slide you can see it is enabling extreme scalability with NoSQL. It is actually supporting very high scalable. That means, you know what do you mean by scalable? You can increase the number of cluster, or you can increase the number of processing unit up to maximum any level, right? So the NoSQL databases is capable for very high scalability. Then it actually demand of your DB is changing. That is also the term you can see in the slide. Nowadays, you know, the demand of your databases or keep on changing. That we'll discuss in the next slide onwards. And there is a small brief history. So that is what are the things we are going to cover in this slide. A brief history of databases, the evolution, complete evolution of the databases, and NoSQL. Why we have to go for NoSQL? What is the use of NoSQL? And what is actually a NoSQL? And when we can use NoSQL databases, right? Then characteristics of NoSQL databases. Then what is the aggregate data models we are using in the NoSQL databases? And what is what about CAP theorem? Okay, so these are the main things, main points we are going to discuss in this class. So before we get into the NoSQL databases, as a prerequisite, we need to just understand the basis of database management system. Okay, so you have studied already the database management system subject already, right? So here, just for a small recollection, we'll just see some of the important aspects related to the database. Database is generally a collection of data or a organized collection of tables, right? So when you design your database, you'll be having more number of tables, and each and every table will be a collection of data. So generally the database will be comprises of one or more tables. It depends on the database that you're going to design, right? Then database management system. What is database management system? Okay, so here in the database management system is a software, you know already, it is a software or a set of program which is used to manipulate or store, retrieve, manage all the data that you are going to save in the databases. Whatever the data you are going to save in the database, for all sort of manipulations, we need a software, we need a set of program, right? So that program we call as a database management system, a software package with computer programs that controls the creation, maintenance, and use of a database. So in practice, we are using a different type of databases, right? So right from Oracle, MySQL, then SQL Server or Microsoft SQL, MS Access, right? Postgres, DB2. So there are a lot of database management systems are there, and those softwares we are using for saving the data properly in the databases and for all sort of manipulations, right? Hello? Able to hear me now? Okay. Right. So databases are created to operate large quantity of information or data by inputting, storing, retrieving, and managing that information. So these are very basic and fundamental things. It is about database management system. And the brief history, how the database management system have been evolved over the period of time. Okay, so in olden days, actually, when we started using the computers, the people have saved the data in the form of files or a normal text file or any other small file format. Actually, they did not have any proper database like thing. Okay, so a proper database software one was not there. So just in the year in the around 1960s and then 1970s, so the database softwares were started evolving. Okay, so initially, what the people have done to store the data, it is in the form of file format, and later on, a small softwares were developed to handle the data, like a spreadsheet, Lotus 123. Okay, Word related documents, softwares were invented, and later on, very small uh, database features software like DBase, DBase 1, 2, 3, and then DBase 4, Fox Pro, Foxbase. So those type of software were developed actually in the initial stage. And later on, the normal database management system was created. And then to remove the drawback or to overcome the drawback in the database management system, people have created a RDBMS, Relational Database Management System. So that is what the concept we are currently using in many places, right? Then it is actually started from the course relational model. It is actually used in the database design, okay, initially, and then there are multiple various type of databases were developed. Okay, so now we are actually moving out of normal relational database management system to big data environment and then NoSQL database environment. Okay, so actually we are going beyond the relational database management system. That is what the current trend is going on. Okay, see here, even in the after the year 2010, so maybe around 5 to 10 years back onwards, we started using to the next technology, okay, to handle the volume of data. There is the type of data that you are having, and then the volume of that data that you are dealing. Everything is changes. Okay, and so what is just a small introduction about what is relational databases, right? So the relational databases plays a vital role in RDBMS, Relational Database Management System, where this actually the basics and fundamental idea from where we have started developing the recent database technologies, right? So just we'll see some of the benefits of relational databases. It is designed for all purpose. Okay, so then asset properties. We maybe you would have studied about asset properties. That is the desirable properties of any transaction. Suppose we are doing any transaction in the databases, the transaction must have this property, that is atomicity, consistency, isolation, and durability. These are the four desirable properties of the transaction. This property should be complied. This property should be applied, or this property should be followed in the databases transaction. And it is also providing strong consistency, concurrency, and recovery. So whatever the data you are saving in the databases, you can have it consistent. That means your data will be saved permanently. You can retrieve it back at any time. Also, the relational databases are supporting concurrency. You know what may be concurrency? That is, it is actually simultaneous access. Suppose if a particular data is there, if the database is being accessed by more than one transaction, then you need a concurrency control you require. Okay, so to avoid the conflict in the data access, you need a concurrency control. This concurrency control mechanism also one of the important thing we can have in the relational databases. And the other important aspect we can have in the relational databases is recovery. That is, whatever the data you are saving in the databases can be retrieved or can be recovered at any point of time, right? So even if any natural calamities happens or if any hardware failure, okay, there are recovery mechanisms are inbuilt in the all the relational databases, where mostly all the relational databases, if it is used in the distributed environment, maybe the duplication or the copy of the data will be replicated in most of the places. Suppose if it is not supporting the distributed databases, the thing is we need to take the backup. Okay, so whatever the data or whatever the all the transactions that we have in the databases, we need to take backup in the backup storage devices. That is also we have in the relational databases, and it is also including mathematical background for efficient query processing, right? So it actually applies the relational algebraic format models, and then set theory, right? Joins. So maybe you would have studied all this, right? So in the relational algebraic format, we studied what is projection, what is selection, right? And then maybe we'll be applying some sort of set theory to make your query efficient. That is optimization. Query optimization can be done with the help of this mathematical background. At the same time, a join, different type of join also can be performed. That is, the basic one is inner join and outer join. Okay, so maybe you would have studied about what is theta join, what is equi join, what is natural join, and what about the left outer join, right outer join, and then full outer join. So those concepts you would have studied already. So these are the backbone and main features you can avail from the relational databases, right? So then next to that we have standard query language. So initially the SQL was called as standard query language. So now we are calling it as a structured query language. Okay, so the structured query language is one of the key area which actually made the entire database operations in a greater level, right? So it actually provides a lot of command in various categories of command. Okay, so what are the manipulations we want to do with the database or the data that we stored in the databases? All sort of manipulations we can do with the help of the structured query language. Okay, so what are the different types of structured query language: DML, DCL, TCL, okay, and then DCL, right? So data manipulation language, data control language, okay, data definition language, DDL, data definition language, TCL, transaction control language. There are varieties of query languages are used in the standard, that is in the structured query language. And so lots of tools used with reporting services, entry frameworks. So even most of the relational database management systems are supporting or providing user interface and then reporting type of tools. Okay, so even we can get the final result from the relational databases itself. For example, the Oracle is providing Oracle reporting. Okay, so that from the Oracle reporting tool, you can get the final result of your entire database query, right? So in that way, the relational databases, whatever we are having right now, is also providing a major benefit to handle the data efficiently. But when it comes to a certain limitation, for example, the volume of data that you are handling, and then the type of data that you are going to handle, and the speed or the velocity of the data if you are going to handle, right? So there are different different characteristics or different types of the limitations we have in the relational databases, right? To overcome those limitations, we go for NoSQL databases. So these are some of the example for SQL databases or relational databases that we are using currently. SQLite, SQLite, Oracle. These are the very most of the people are using this type of relational databases. PostgreSQL, DB-ISM, TurboDB, and then MySQL, and then Microsoft SQL is there. Microsoft SQL Azure. So Azure is actually used in the cloud computing environment. It is a cloud-based database, right? And the one is Microsoft SQL Server. So these are some of the most preferred or most used databases in the market. Okay, so in the industry as well as in the in the business environment. And so we are talking about the relational model or relational databases. The key idea behind the relational database management system is how you can relate one table with the other remaining tables, right? So maybe you would have studied already. So you'll be having a set of keys in one table. Those keys can be used as a reference key or otherwise a foreign key in the other table for a reference, right? So here the idea is just you are going to link one table with the other table, and thereby you are having a relationship from one table to the other table. Suppose if you use a primary key in the table 2, the same primary key can be used as a foreign key in the first table, right? So uh, the conditions are you would have studied already. If you want to make a primary key, or if you want to make any particular super key or anything, any candidate key, so that should be with unique values. Okay, so the unique values can be created as a that is the primary key or the candidate key or super key, right? Or alternate key, something like that, that you can create. So this is how we make the table to interact with each other, and this is how we call it as a relational database management or relational model. Okay, so this is one of the apart from the relational model, we have other models like a hierarchical model, network model, right? So those models also used in the database design, but most primarily most of the places people prefer to use relational model only. Okay, so if it is required, if the your database is very much required to go for the hierarchical model or the network model, then you can follow it, that also. And so what is NoSQL? NoSQL, why the NoSQL is there, and what and when? Okay, so NoSQL, as we said, generally the relational database management system may not support the distributed computing. So nowadays, mostly we are moving towards distributed computing. Distributed computing in the sense your computation will be performed in across the network. That is, your servers will be located in different places, and all the servers will be connected across the network, and all your computation will be performed across the network, not in only in a single machine. Okay, so all your business computation, all your the software related computation, everything, right? So everything will be computed across the network in multiple server or multiple cluster, right? So if you are going to perform some business operation in the distributed environment, what are the server or what are the nodes are going to participate, those nodes you are going to call as a cluster, right? It is a group of devices or group of servers you are going to use it for distributed computing. uh, right. So relational databases were not built for distributed application. That is one of the major drawback we have in the relational databases. Relational databases, suppose if you use SQL Server, SQL Server can be used as a centralized database, not in the form of distributed database, right? So to support the distributed databases, we are going towards the next level of database design, right? So here, why it is not supporting the distributed application? Because when you're dealing with distributed related database model, and you need to perform joins. We already said about join. There is a different type of join operation should be performed to work with your tables and the databases. See here, when you are going for the distributed application, performing the join operations will be more expensive and then hard to scale horizontally. You know what may be horizontal scaling and what is vertical scaling. In the horizontal scaling, it is actually going to work on the record wise or row wise. If you are going for vertical scaling, it is going to work on the column wise in the table. Okay, so it is hard to scale horizontally. That is, extending your record or set of tuples to the other distributed environment will be very difficult when you are using this type of relational model, since it is not supporting a proper distributed application. Okay, and impedance mismatch also occurs when you use the this type of distributed this type of relational relational databases. Impedance mismatch can be the incompatibility. Impedance mismatch can be a kind of incompatibility between your database as well as the host language that you are going to use for all your database manipulation. Okay, for example, if you are using Java, and similarly you'll be using SQL or any other the query language. So whatever the data type or whatever the features that you are using in your host language as well as in the database related languages or the SQL language, so both feature as well as the both data type, everything should be compatible, right? So when you are dealing with this type of the distributed environment, there is a chance for impedance mismatch might occur, right? And then the other point is the expensive. Okay, so it is more expensive. The product cost, hardware maintenance, everything is expensive, right? So these are the main reasons we just discuss in this the relational the NoSQL. That's why we are going for NoSQL databases. So these are the problems that we face when you use the relational databases. To overcome this problem, to get the advantage, we'll move towards the NoSQL related databases, right? So now you can see here, the relational databases were not built for distributed replication, but here the NoSQL databases will support high speed. It supports the high performance. Again, it also supports the high availability and partition tolerance. Okay, so that's what we said about partition tolerance. That is when you are going for horizontal split or vertical split of your table, and when you use this NoSQL database, the NoSQL database can support your partition tolerance also, right? So here you can see in the images, yeah, SQL related relational databases will be very much working in a single environment or in a single server. But whereas the same SQL relational database model may not be so efficient when you are going for distributed environment. You can see here. Okay, this picture shows your distributed environment of distributed computing, where the SQL and then relational database model may not work properly. That is, may not be so efficient. But when you say the SQL, if you are using in a single server or a single computer, that will be quite okay, right? And so why NoSQL now, and what are the driving trends? So the new trends nowadays we are having in the industry, like we are dealing with big data, and we talked about connectivity in the graph related databases, and P2P knowledge. P2P is peer-to-peer knowledge. That is, peer means in the sense the servers or the nodes that are in the same level. Okay, so maybe you would have heard this term in the networks, peer-to-peer, which is in the same level of computation. And concurrency related issues we are addressing here, and diversity. So diversity is also another one of the important thing we use in the recent days. We'll be dealing with different varieties of data. Okay, so we are not only stick with a structured data. We'll be handling different varieties of data. Okay, so maybe we'll be dealing with structured data sometime, and then semi-structured data sometime, and then unstructured data, right? So, but in the practical usage in the real time, mostly in the big data environment, I will be dealing with unstructured data only. Okay, right. So this what the performance versus data complexity. So if your data complexity is less, obviously you can reach greater performance with your system. Suppose if the data complexity is more, you are dealing with more complex data, then obviously the performance will also degrade. Okay, so for example, if you are taking a social network, right, or location based device, something like that in the real time system, mostly you'll be dealing with varieties of data, right? So for example, maybe you'll be dealing with unstructured data or semi-structured data. So in those times, the complexity of the data is also increasing, and we need a proper environment or the framework to deal with the different, that is unstructured and semi-structured data. And what is NoSQL? NoSQL is actually not only SQL. Okay, that means what? We are not going to use only SQL. Apart from SQL, we can use something else also. Okay, that is what it means. Not only SQL. Maybe here we are not saying you should not use SQL. Apart from the SQL, you can use some other query language also, right? So here the some other query language, what we are refer is the query language that is depends on or used in a particular framework or particular software, right? That is also there. So here, a NoSQL database provides a mechanism for storage and retrieval of data that employs less constrained consistency model than traditional relational databases. So whatever the traditional relational database models we are using, so we'll be having somewhat, for storage and retrieval of data that employs less constraint. That means what? So we can deal with varieties of data. So not only very, schema based or very structural based data, not only with this type of data, we can handle different categories of data also. NoSQL systems are also referred to as not only SQL, to emphasize that they do in fact allow SQL like query languages to be used. So maybe similar to the SQL, maybe you can use in the NoSQL database environment. So what are the basic characteristics of a NoSQL databases are there, right? So the basic characteristics of NoSQL databases, it actually provides certain features and it is not allowing certain features or certain characteristics, right? So since we are not using a proper ACID properties in the NoSQL, so overhead of ACID transactions can be avoided. Okay, so here no need to strictly follow the ACID properties in the where we use the ACID properties in the relational database model. Okay, so for the relational database model transaction, the desirable properties of the transaction will be ACID property that we discussed already. But here, when you use the NoSQL databases, no need of strictly following ACID transaction, right? ACID properties. And complexity of SQL query can be very much avoided here. No need to write a very complex SQL queries here. Burden of upfront schema design. So here we are going to just see the NoSQL databases are schemaless. Okay. So suppose if you design your database, or if you are using design your table with certain schema, and maybe suppose the same database or same table, if you are going to modify or if you are going to change in the future, then you need to change the schema, right? So since the NoSQL databases are not using any schema and no need for upfront schema design, that is in future, there is no need to change the schema design. You know what you will be design a schema, right? So the schema is nothing but it actually describes the structure of your database or structure of your table, right? The structure of your table or the database no need to change, because the NoSQL databases are going to follow schemaless based, right? So because you are not very strict with only the structured data, you are going to save the unstructured and semi-structured data also, right? When you're dealing with different varieties of data, then you cannot have a very strict schema there, right? So burden of then DBA presence, database administrator presence are not very much required here. And then transaction, it should be handled application layer. So there is no specific layer in the NoSQL databases to handle the transaction. So that can be handled with the initial top layer, that is called the application layer, right? Then, so what are the characteristics the NoSQL databases are providing? It is easy and frequent changes to database. Suppose if you do any schema changes, or it's not using schema, but if you're going to do any changes in the databases, in the NoSQL databases, maybe you can do frequent changes there, right? And then it is fast development, and it is actually providing all sort of features where you can concentrate only on your development of your database, and then the other business process, instead of just looking at the design aspect, right? So the design aspect mostly will be taken care by your NoSQL databases, and you can deal with large data volumes, right? So any amount of data you can deal with NoSQL databases. Then again, it is a schemaless. So we are not using any proper schema in the NoSQL databases. And these are some of the important NoSQL databases are available in the market. Redis, and then HBase, Cassandra, MongoDB. MongoDB, maybe you would have heard about this MongoDB many times. MongoDB, one of the famous NoSQL database are used in the industry now. And Rack, and then CouchDB, Tokyo Cabin, so project Oldmart, okay, and then Membase, Neo4j, and then Scalaris. These are the some of the important NoSQL databases are currently used. Here, even if it is all comes under NoSQL databases, based on certain feature, based on certain the nature of the database, you can make it with a different classification. Okay, that we are going to discuss in the next slides. So here the for example, for Neo4j is mainly meant for graph database. Okay, so it is given there, the graph database, right? So whereas the other NoSQL databases may not support the graph storage very much, right? So that's what, based on the feature, based on the type of the data that you are going to save in the NoSQL databases, that you can have a classification. And so NoSQL why and when you can use the NoSQL data and when you should not use the NoSQL data. So first we'll just talk about when you should not use, or when it is not recommended to use NoSQL database. If you are dealing with financial data, that means if your data is very crucial and it is very highly confidential, if you should have more security for your data. So you may not recommend or you no need to go for NoSQL databases. Maybe you can prefer the other more secured database environment. And then data requiring strict ACID compliance. Suppose if your transaction, if your database is requiring a complete ACID property should be followed. Okay, so in the bank transaction you can take the bank transaction, the ACID property should be completely followed. So in those type of environment, you may not recommend the NoSQL databases. And when the business is dealing with very critical data, very crucial data, then you no need to go for NoSQL databases, right? So simply when you are looking for very perfect and then very strict way of dealing with data with very high security and with a clean structure and everything, and then you may not use NoSQL databases. But when you can go for choosing these NoSQL databases, if your traditional database management system model is too restrictive. So for example, if you need a flexible schema or schemaless environment or design, then you can use NoSQL databases, right? So actually the NoSQL databases are having some flexibility in dealing with the data, whereas your relational database management system will not have that much flexibility. So if your database design is you're looking for a flexible way of dealing with the data or accessing the data, then you can choose your NoSQL database. And when ACID property or support is not really needed, and then object to relational impedance. So maybe you'll be saving the data in the form of object, and the mismatch between the object and the relational idea or relational model, if you have any impedance, then you no need to use the NoSQL databases. It is not recommended, that's it. Because RDBMS is neither distributed nor scalable by nature, that we discussed already. The normal RDBMS software will not be used in the distributed environment. At the same time, it will not support scalability also, right? You cannot suddenly increase the number of cluster or number of execution environment or number of servers. And logging data from distributed sources. So log data that is saved in the distributed sources, if it is required, you need to save that logging data in the distributed environment or the distributed cluster, and you can choose this NoSQL data. And storing events, temporal data. Temporal is nothing but where you can use your data with time stamping. Okay, so whatever the data you are dealing, so all the data will be having with your time value, right? And then, as well as storing event, suppose if you want to store any event-based data, then you can use the NoSQL data. And then temporary data, it is shopping carts and then wish list, session data, because this data will be saved temporarily. And data which requires flexible schema, that's what I already told you. If you are looking for very flexible, then you can choose this one. And then polyglot persistent, that is best data stored depending on nature of data. So if it is only nature of data you are going to prefer, then you can make use the NoSQL database. So this some of the major companies, important industries are using NoSQL databases, starting from Google, Yahoo, LinkedIn, eBay, and Netflix, The Guardian, Amazon. So a lot of companies are there, such big companies. So they'll be actually using this type of NoSQL databases. Since all the companies, what are the companies are there on the slide? Mostly all the companies are using unstructured data with very huge volume of data. Okay, they are dealing with even some real-time data with high velocity and high volume of data, and then different categories of data. Right? What are the characteristics are so appropriate, so applicable for the big data environment? So this company, they'll be using those type of data. So obviously they'll be using NoSQL databases. And the next one, what is a schemaless data model? And first, we are just going to talk about in relational databases, what do you mean by schema? We already said the NoSQL databases are schemaless. The schemas are not very strictly followed in the NoSQL databases. Whereas when you are going to do database design with relational databases, and schemas are very much required. Okay, so you should follow the schema completely. We already studied about what do you mean by schema. Schema is the structure of your table. That is how you are going to describe your table is called the schema. In all the relational databases management system, you'll be having, that is, you have to follow your schema. So here one example is given. First, initially a table is created. Okay, so create table customer with the field name, ID, first name, and then last name. Okay, so these are the three attributes or three fields are included in the table. That is ID, first name, and last name. Suppose if you are trying to insert the customer table in the same table, the values will be different. For example, first name, middle name, last name. Okay, so instead of giving ID number, first name, and last name, suppose if you are inserting values with first name, middle name, and last name, that is, you are actually not obeying or not following the schema described in the table. If you are not following the schema, then you will not be able to insert the value into the same table. Okay, so the insert command will not be executed if you don't follow the schema there, right? So that's what the example given here. Then here, these are the points. You cannot add a record which does not fit the schema. That is what the example given here. So whatever the record, whatever the updation you want to do, or whatever the insertion you want to do in the databases, you have to follow the schema strictly. Okay, then you need to add null to unused items in your row. So we have studied about some constraint. Okay, null, not null, those type of constraints we have studied in the databases. So you need to, suppose if you're not going to give a particular value for a particular attribute in the insert command, then in that place you have to give null. Okay, so until if that particular attribute is made not null. Okay, so that means if it is not null, you have to give the value compulsory, right? If a particular attribute in your insert command is being made, the constraint is there with not null, then you have to give the value, right? So you cannot skip that. Otherwise, what you can do, if it is null values allowed, if you don't give the value there, then you should give null there, right? Then we should consider the data type. So what is the data type is used? Even the relational database management system, the database data types are very strictly followed, and some of the casting are allowed. Okay, so maybe from the lower data type to the higher data type, and then we call this a type casting. Okay, so from lower to higher version. Here we have implicit type casting and explicit type casting. There are type castings are allowed in the database management system. And here, suppose if you use totally two different data type and you cannot use that particular data type. For example, you cannot add a string to an integer field. Suppose you have declared integer data type for a particular attribute or a particular field in the table, and in that place you cannot give the string values there. Okay, so you have to follow the schema as per the schema, right? And then you cannot add multiple items in a field. Suppose if you have a cell
in a particular table, right? So cell, you know what you mean by cell, a particular place which actually in the rows and column place, right? So in a particular cell, you cannot have more than one value, right? So we actually studied in the normalization concept. The normalization, the first normalization form, it disallows multiple items or the multiple values, okay, or the composite values, right? So if the composite values or the multiple values are there, then that should be separated. That should be simplified. Okay, you have to make it as a separate table, right? So these are, the main important things we will be doing in the relational databases. When you are saving the data in the relational databases, these are the main important things we'll be doing. Okay, it is actually based on the schema. So for example, here you create another table, primary key and foreign key, joins and normalization. Suppose if you are using multiple items in your relational table, then you have to create one more table, and those table can be um, related with the the remaining table with the help of primary key and foreign keys, right? So even you have to perform the joins and normalization process. And now comes to the schemaless model. What is actually really happening in the NoSQL databases, right? So it is just opposite to the what we discussed in the previous slide. There in the relational databases, it is using schema very strictly, but whereas in the NoSQL databases, the schemas are not used at the maximum, right? Uh, there is no schema to consider, right? You can see here a simple example diagram is given. The relational model, table 1, table 2, and table 3, these tables are given by key and values, and then it is actually nothing but the columns. Okay, so the as how you are writing your table, and the same thing it's represented in the document model. Okay, so document model, there is no such kind of table format, right? So everything will be saved in the some kind of special structure, right? Using the special structure, so it will be used, right? Then there is no unused cell, because we are not using any cell here in the document model. So there is no unused cell here, and then there is no data type also. Okay, so because it is just going to use the unstructured way of storing the data, so there is no strict data type here, right? And most of the considerations are done in application layer, right? So here we are not really dealing with all the schema and data type, and then designing the structure, everything in the lower level. Instead we'll be doing in the design level itself, that is in the application layer itself. And we gather all the items in an aggregate, that is whatever the details or whatever the data you want to save, those data will be saved in the aggregated format as a document in the document model. Okay, so this is one of the model which is used in the NoSQL databases. Other than the document model, there are other models also used. Okay, that we will discuss in the later slides. So this for just for understanding, there is a comparison between your relational model and then NoSQL databases, where the relational model is using strictly the schema based structure or schema based design, and then here NoSQL databases, it doesn't uses any schema there. So that is what the key difference between these two. And the next one is the aggregate data model. That's what I told you. We are not only using the document model in the NoSQL databases. Other than the document model, there are other three models also used in the NoSQL databases. Okay, so here you can see the NoSQL databases are classified into four major data models. This is the four major and important data models are handled or used in the NoSQL databases. One is key value pair, and then document model, and then column family model, and graph model. These are the four major classification models are there in the NoSQL databases. And each and every database that is applicable or that is with the particular data model will be using its own query language. Okay, so just look at this slide. We have given some example here. Here the document data model, what all the NoSQL databases are using: MongoDB, RavenDB, and CouchDB. These are the three main important NoSQL databases are there. Apart from this, there are other databases also there. So these are the three main NoSQL databases which actually uses document data model way of storing the data. And then next to that, we have the column family. In the column family, the data will be saved in the form of column. It will be something similar like your table, right? We maybe you can call this as a big table that you are going to discuss in the next few slides. Here in the column family, the data will be saved in the form of column. Okay, not really like your relational table. Here the column will be used in some other different format. And here the Cassandra and Apache HBase. So these are the two main NoSQL databases or comes under column family. The Cassandra is, the Facebook is using Cassandra, right? So, and then we are going to discuss about Apache HBase. We have one more separate topic on this that we'll discuss later. And the next comes to the data model categories, key value. Here, maybe you would have studied about this key and value pair, right? So whatever the data you are going to save, so that will be saved in the place of value. And for each and every data, each and every value, there will be a key will be generated. Okay, so using this key, you can access the value here. So that is also we are going to discuss in the next few slides. And the project WorldMart, React, Redis. So these are the three important NoSQL databases are using key and value pair data model. And the last one is the graph model, graph data model, which actually uses the data in the form of graph. The Neo4j. So we already spoke about this when we studied the graph analytics. Neo4j is the NoSQL database which actually uses the graph model. Okay, it is actually using graph model. So you can see here there are four data models are there used in the NoSQL databases. The one is document data model, then second one column family data model, and third one key value pair data model, and then graph data model. Okay, so we have given some of the examples also, which are all the NoSQL databases are comes under that particular category. Okay, so now we'll see one by one. The first one is key value data model. As I said, whatever the data you are going to save in the databases, not exactly in the databases, it is used saved in the NoSQL databases, will be saved in the form of key value data model. Okay, so the key value data model here you can see the React, Redis, and then project WorldMart. So these are the example databases are given. So these databases are using this particular key value data model. So it is actually simplest NoSQL databases. Here we are not using any complex structure way of storing the data. Only will be storing the data, whatever the data or whatever the document will be in the form of key and value pair. Okay, so the key will be generated mostly with the help of the hash function, right? So you can see this simple example here, key and then attributes, right? So the key will be generated with the help of the hash function, and then the appropriate value or the data will be saved in the attribute column or in the value column. Okay, so you have two separate entities here. One is key and another one is value, right? So the value, there is no specific data type is used, right? So how you can access the data? You can just access the data by string called keys. So maybe whatever the key we are generating here, that will be in the form of string, and using the string key you can access the data, right? And then data has no required format. Data may have any format. Since you are going to save the data as it is in your value place, then there is no strict format is followed here, right? So you can just save the document or save the data as it is. This particular model we call as key value pairs, right? So what are the basic operations you can perform in the key value data model? The basic operations are just you can perform insertion, fetch, update, and delete. So when you're going to insert, you should have two values, that is key and value, right? So only then you can insert certain values into the appropriate places, right? Insertion, you require a key and value, both the values you should have. That is both key and value you should have. And for the fetching, it is already there in the NoSQL database. With the key value, you are just going to fetch the appropriate value based on the key provided. Okay, so what is the key is there? Based on this key, you are going to fetch the value from the database. For fetching, you need only key, and then for updation also, you need only the key, right? So with the help of the key, just you are going to update the already existing or already stored data in the value place. And then the other one is you have delete. To delete a particular value, you can make use the key here. Okay, so it is very simple. Maybe you would have studied this key value pair in most of the places. And here the key value data model is very simplified one. Maybe you are not using any complex structure there, so you need only the key and then the value. Okay, so the key will be using some hash function, and then the keys will be used for all sort of manipulation. Okay, so this is what about the key value data model. And even Amazon Dynamo database, it is also using the key value data model format. Next comes to the column family data model. We have seen a column family data model, Cassandra and HBase. Okay, two examples are given. And here the column family data model, it will be looking like a table. Okay, so it is not exactly the table, like it will look like a table which has only two values, that is two attribute, key and value. Okay, so here this actually resembles like a big table, right? So big table is one of the concept we use in the HBase. And that is actually based on the column family data model only, right? So here the column is lowest smallest instance of your data. So whatever the data you are going to save in this format, you'll be having again key and value, but the storage wise, you're not going to save as it is. You'll be saving the data in the form of column. Okay, so it is a tuple that contains a name, a value, and a timestamp. So these are the important parameter you should have for the whatever the data you are saving in this format, in this particular model. And here you can see column, there are row ID, column family, title, time, value. These are the things are given. So time, actually it is refers to the timestamp. Okay, so timestamp is nothing but your which particular time the particular data is been stored in the table, right? So you can see the example. A key value is there, that is called the row ID. With the help of the row ID, you can refer with the other column family. Okay, so these are the set of rows, okay, or these are the set of data comes under one particular row ID. So that is dog underscore 12, which can refer the this column family. Okay, so these are the column family, title, time, and then value. So these are the things are provided in the column family data model. Okay, so here also you can see the column family is author, but in the key value you have different key values, and in the value itself it is actually stored in the form of column. Column again, it is having name and value. Okay, so what are the names are there and what is the values are given, right? So in this way the data is saved in the NoSQL databases. Okay, so especially in the Cassandra and HBase. And here the column family data model, it actually performs compared to the normal relational database management system, it can perform with very greater speed and then higher efficiency. Okay, it can function with very high speed. Here you can see some small strategies given about Facebook search using Cassandra. The Cassandra, as I said, it is used in the Facebook. And suppose if you are searching some content about 50 GB data in MySQL, the writing average will be about approximately 300 microseconds, and read average will be 350 microseconds. Okay, but the same thing if you do with the Cassandra, the same 50 GB data, more than 50 GB data, the writing average speed will be 0.12 microseconds. Okay, and then read average will be 15 microseconds. Just you can see the difference. It is writing is about 300 to 0.12. That is not even 1 times 300 out of you can just see the difference here, right? So 300 here it is 0.12, and here 350, and it is 15, right? So how many number of times it is actually working if that is with greater speed. The next model is graph data model. So we have some of the point we have discussed in the graph analyst topic. Even the graph data model is also using the same concept, that is graph theory. Here, whatever the data you are going to save, you'll be saving in the form of vertices and edges. Okay, so you have the vertices or the nodes will be all the nodes and vertices will be having your data, and the connection or the relation between one vertex to the other vertex will be connected with the a link that is called edge. Okay, it is actually using the same graph theory, and this graph data model is capable to scale vertically. Okay, so you know what in way vertical and what in way horizontal. Horizontal scaling means you can increase the number of uh, rows or number of columns, and if it is a vertical, then you can increase the number of rows. Okay, so just opposite. And you can use graph algorithm easily, and all the transaction can be performed. And ACID properties, it is actually using ACID properties up to some extent. Okay, so we said whenever you are using the NoSQL databases, ACID properties may not be followed strictly, but this particular data model can be the ACID properties can be used up to some extent. And this is a Neo4j is one of the NoSQL databases we use for graph data model. And next comes the document based data model. Here in the document based data model, there we studied about key and value, the same thing but with a little bit modification here. You can save the data in the form of any data structure. Okay, so there just you will be saving the data in the form of values only, but here it uses a complex data structure, or otherwise here simply a data structure. And even the data structure can also use some nested structure. Okay, as you can see in the diagram, a person first name last name is given, and then again address, street, and street is there, right? So if you are saving this data in this data structure format, it is called the document based data model. This is called your nested document or the nested structure. Okay, a structure or the document which is already available in the another structure or the another document, right? Maybe you can see here also, you have the key and then document. There in the key value, we have the key and then the values are saved as it is. But here in the document, the format of saving the document will be in the form of structure. It uses a data structure format, right? So here also you can see it is using some data structure, and inside the data structure there are other data structure is also used as a nested document or the nested data structure. Okay, so the document based data model is using again key and document model. This document model is using kind of data structure format of saving the data, and again even you can go for any number of nested way of storing the document. Okay, so that is allowed here. And how you can access the document, whether it is outer structure or the inner structure, maybe you can use some B tree structure, right? So in the B tree structure you have studied already. The B tree structure, all the values will be there in the leaf node. Okay, so with the data available or the such key that is available in the leaf node, you can find the values here. Okay, so you can search or you can do all manipulation with the document based data model. And this is the example for document based data model. Here you can see select name, picture, profile URL from user, where user ID equal to me. Me is actually a function. Okay, this is not the value here. Me open and close parenthesis, it is a function. So what is the function is using? That result will be compared with the user ID that will be stored in the user ID, and that user ID will be checked with the where condition. Okay, where clause. So based on this, when you execute, there are different example SQL statements are given here. So based on this, when you execute, you'll be getting this type of result, right? So the data that you are saved in the NoSQL database will be in the form of a document based. But again, when you use this type of query, and you'll be able to get the result like this, right? Some of the examples are given here. So there are other different SQL statements are given, but with some small modifications. So now just we summarize with this. What is SQL versus non-SQL, right? So the main differences, examples you know already. SQL databases, Oracle, MySQL, and then MS Access or whatever. So there are a lot of DB2, a lot of products are there. And in the NoSQL database also we have seen many examples: MongoDB, CouchDB, Neo4j, and storage model in the relational databases. In the relational databases, it uses rows and table in the form of rows and columns in the form of table. And in the NoSQL databases, it uses a key value and then all the data model you can see here. Okay, so all the 4 data model. In addition to that, you have a file format, JSON and XML. Okay, you know already what is JSON and XML. JSON, JavaScript object notation, and XML. I hope you remember what purpose we are included JSON and XML here, right? So when you are going to deal with semi-structured data in the NoSQL databases, you'll be using this format, that is JSON and then XML. Apart from the semi-structured data, if you are dealing with all unstructured data, maybe you can use any one of the previous set models. Okay, so suppose if you are using semi-structured data, especially in the NoSQL databases, maybe you will be using JSON format and then XML format. And schemas, maybe the SQL databases will be following a static schema. That's why we call it as a schema based. The relational databases are schema based, and NoSQL databases are schema less, or otherwise you can call it a dynamic. That is, schema can be framed or can be designed dynamically based on the requirement and based on the type of data that you are going to save in the databases. And scaling, you can perform both vertical and horizontal scaling. That means you can increase the number of columns and increase the number of rows in the SQL databases. But in the NoSQL databases, you can go for horizontal, right? So here the other meaning is you can split the table in horizontal also, right? So when you are going for the distributed computing, in the NoSQL databases will support horizontal way of splitting. Okay, partitioning also we are going to talk about. That's called the sharding, right? And then transactions, mostly you can use the transaction in the SQL databases using ACID properties, and the NoSQL databases will support transaction up to certain extent. Okay, so there are limited amount of or limited privileged transaction only you can perform with the NoSQL database, right? Maybe you cannot very strict with the ACID properties. That is what we discussed already. And then data manipulation, select, insert, update. So thorough object-oriented APIs. So here data manipulations, all sort of DML command you can use in the SQL databases, and whereas in the NoSQL databases you'll be using some APIs, right? So which particular language or which particular framework you are using, based on that you'll be using the APIs, that is application programming interface, to interact with your NoSQL databases. Right. The next point is, since the NoSQL databases are very much used in distributed environment. Okay, so we call it as a distributed database system. But when you are going to work with the databases, mainly the 4 features must be applied. Okay, so we need 4 features here: fault tolerance, high availability, consistency, scalable. Okay, so these 4 features are very much required if you are working in a normal databases. Okay, the normal relational database management system can provide 1 or 2 features, and then the distributed database can provide 1 or 2 features. That is, getting all the 4 features in a single system or a single database environment, it is very highly impossible. Okay, so we call it as a CAP theorem.
Hey there. Subscribe to my channel. And also press this bell icon.